Truly opinionated, we do it for the culture. A group of minds.
Yo, welcome to another edition of the panel presented by the Top Podcast. I'm your host with the most, IV, aka Sweet Brother Noomsy. Please say the Noomsy. You know I got my people in here with me.
What's good, y'all? It's your girl Crown Vic.
Yeah, what it do, baby? It's your boy Just Doug in the building.
What's going on, family? It's your girl Love J Meeks.
What's up with it? It's your boy D Karen, aka Kera These Nuts, aka I'm dope as fuck. What's up with it?
We are the Top Podcast, truly opinionated people. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is the panel, episode 7, and we got a special guest with us. Funny lady, Miss Comedian Extraordinaire, Miss Kera Denise. Let's give it up for her right quick. Thank you for having her. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Definitely gonna have a good time. Just to kind of get started and just kind of get the basics. At what point in your life did you realize that you could really like make people laugh?
I just jump right in. I'm well. Thanks for asking. I mean, you would jump in the deep end.
How are you today?
I'm well.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm well. Thanks. But I would say as long as I can remember, really. Now thinking back on it, it's like I can acknowledge it as making people laugh, whereas back then in the moment, you're just expressing yourself naturally. Mm-hmm. So now, as you know, now that you kind of like have that adult brain putting 2 and 2 together, yes, comedy is my lane, and it definitely started like in early childhood.
Okay. So as far as you can remember like you were young, because I hear a lot of comedians say they have like to be a comedian, a good comedian, you got to have like a kind of like a different sense of humor or a weird sense of humor. Like you might find things funny that the rest of us might not find funny. So when did you know you had that particular gene? Like, you know, you was just tripping to yourself like, oh shit.
Listen, I would I think the same answer would apply. Like I feel like my sense of humor started out like you dead ass wrong. Can I cuss?
Yeah.
All right.
It's private now.
But like, you know, my sense of humor has always been like troublesome. I'm not even gonna lie, like I'm grown now, so like the truth is like I was bad. Like I always was in trouble for class clowning, and you know, like in high school, my only 2 superlatives were class clown and funniest girl. So I was like, that's it. Okay, now I'm gonna do comedy, because if you look back on the superlatives, those are like, you know, a big factor in whatever your occupation is as an adult. Right. You don't really realize it at that moment,
right?
But you know, so I think definitely, I feel like I've always been funny. I can make a joke. Everybody knows shit is funnier when it's not supposed to be funny, especially when y'all in the room, like a classroom. But you know, like so that feeling of just gut wrenching laughter, I feel like it's a drug. Okay, that's my drug.
So like, at what point did you decide to like, okay, I know I'm funny in school and shit, but like, when did you decide? All right, let me take this to another level. Let me like, you know, start going to some clubs. Like, how did that process go for you?
That began about a year ago. Really?
Okay.
So everybody think I'm funny, but whole time I'm like, what's a good? So I'm still kind of like new in the game. But yeah, about a year ago, I feel like I was at my boiling point from all the heat in my life. At some point, that heat gonna turn into your destiny. It's gonna push you. I was thrusted into it. I had no choice. I had nothing. I don't want to say I had nothing else, but my toleration and just me becoming one with myself and not wanting to work for nobody else. Mm-hmm. That's honestly, I will start from the ground with me. Imagine, think of a 401k. That's your entire working life. You've been putting in 8 hours a day, every day. Almost, some people do 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. You know, it's for the next person. If you really put that into yourself, we all could be, you know what I'm saying, at our higher selves.
Right.
Then it would, you know, lessen the beef and the drama and yada yada. So I guess I can say once my spirituality caught up with my maturity, I was like, fuck
it. I heard you mention earlier, you said something about a call center. So you would be like the funny girl. If we worked together in a call center, you would have me in stitches,
Man,
and we
you
wouldn't be able to get our
already,
fucking
everybody
work
know.
done.
Have y'all ever worked in a call center?
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Call center environment, nigga. I'm the one that, do you mind holding for a brief moment while I research that for you?
yeah,
Pause, eating the fries, nigga. I'm eating goddamn. If that chicken sandwich was out when I was, see, that's new. That one out when I was a call center. Ooh, that would have been bumming a call center.
yeah.
Chicken
The
sandwich.
call center environment.
That's
in
a
itself
whole
is
nother
funny.
appetite. You just be
Yeah.
hungry for no reason.
Yeah, that's
Let them say something in the break room.
Yeah,
Everybody out.
damn.
Emails. It used to be so fun, man. But yeah.
Yeah. What would you say is your brand or your style of comedy? Like if somebody was to ask you, like, what's how would you describe your type of comedy? What do you is it, you consider yourself a truthful comic? Do you try to like tell a lot of stories? How do you feel about, or you just kinda
Honestly, I feel like I am just me. Like, I don't think I would put myself into any
Box.
box. You know what I mean? I wouldn't categorize like my style. I try to be just real. Like, if I forget, like, I still mess up. You know what I mean? I still get nerves. I'm still, like I told you, I started a year ago.
Right.
I'm in a game where I'm at the funny bone. Like, people think that's cool, but when the actual celebrities come and the difference between the roar in the crowd when, like, I went to see some more. Oh my
legend.
God, like the whole that man, just I know that where I could be, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And the route that I need to take. So
Right. But the opportunity, I mean, just to be there while she was there, I mean, she's a legend in the game. So I'm
right.
pretty sure you.
And I'm just in the audience. Like, I ain't nobody. There's nobody even know I'm Kera Denise. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people too. So I guess I feel like it's tangible. Like, whereas honestly, if I was in the call center, the idea of like in the interview, where would you like to be? And you tell them this lie, oh, in 5 years, I want to be a manager or whatever. That is more bullshit than you being a comedian. You may as well, you have a greater chance doing what you want to do, doing what your passion is, versus just being sleep and drunk off this white man's dream. No shade.
Right.
So speaking of the Funny Bone, how was your experience with that? How were you received when you went to the Funny Bone?
So the Funny Bone, everything has really been like on an amateur level. As far as like your ticket is not going to be like $40 to come see me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they received me so well. I think like my first time ever was the Funny Bone. Like, that is literally jumping in the freezing pool.
Yeah.
That's not sticking your toe in is open mics. Like, and you know what I'm saying? So for that to be my first time, I think I set the bar high for myself.
Yeah, definitely.
But unknowingly, I truly didn't know where else to go.
Yeah.
I was like, where are the open mics? You know, so I had like support around me and people encouraging me. That's another thing. You know, the people around you really have an influence on your success or at least your ambition.
Yeah.
They believed in you.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay. You know, you remember
And
how-
it was only like two, 3 people.
you
It don't
remember-
even take a whole family of people.
You remember how long your set was when you went there? Or-
Man, that set is 5 minutes. Every
okay.
comedian know. The Funny Bone, 5 minutes. They will flash that light. Hey,
It's a wrap.
you be like, thanks for having me. It's Kera Denise. Y'all follow me, everybody. For real.
So what was that experience like as far as like coming up with your material for the first time? Like, did you know how to like, write material? Did you have to kind of like, do some research on that? And how did you know you had, 5 minutes worth of
Honestly,
material?
I had material. And yeah, you like just kind of go over it. Most like seasoned, I guess, comedians would probably write their jokes, but nowadays technology, I kind of like just record myself talking.
Okay.
So you kind of, you can gauge how long it is, and the just the setup of the jokes and whatnot. But actually, my first time, I didn't even write it. I did all that. I got on that stage. It was like, shoot. I was like, well, y'all, guess what happened today on Poor White? Like, I just went straight into improv, and that's me. So I'm more, I love improv way more than, I can't write a joke. I can literally tell you about what happened today and make that funny. Like I can tell you about me telling you about what happened today. Like it's literally anything. You can say anything, as long as it's relatable and as long as it's funny.
Right. I dig that. So what do you because I mean this day and age, like the lane for comedians, I mean it's still, I respect comedians a lot because it's similar to people that's getting into music or even that's taking a path with sports. You know what I'm saying? It's a different it's a lot of work that you got to put in. But I think the day and age now with comedians, you got social media too. So you got like the different comedians that use that platform, like Jess Hilarious or what's my other guy name that's high right? Desi Banks.
Desi.
You know what I'm saying? So
There's so many of them.
I feel like the stand up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like I commend you for just even still doing stand up because I think some comedians they take a different approach now. They go to social media, they make short clips and videos first, then they do stand up. Whereas back in the day, you kind of had to start, with the stand up. So, how do you feel? Do you feel more comfortable with doing like social media content, or you kind of just take, whatever you feeling at the time, you'll do it?
So, social media, obviously, social media is a big part of comedy these days, but I kind of like hate that. Okay. I don't want to like give you a skit. Like I want to go on the stage, and actually do stand up comedy. You hit the nail on the head when you mentioned, the old school. Right. That's what I identify with, especially like Comedy Central. I mean, Comic View. And like the old school Kings of Comedy, and they wasn't giving us skits and Black people be like, and you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't
no social media.
You have to constantly think of things. I'd be around people and they'd be like, and like if we were all comedians, like when I'm with my comedian friends or whatever, every little thing that happens, they always like, hey, somebody write that down. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, why everything gotta be like, damn, can we live our lives and then go on the stage? Like, I guess there's such an integration of social life and business, like your occupation. And it's all like the same when it comes to comedy these days. I kind of want to separate the two.
I got you. I definitely respect that. I wanted to go back and because you mentioned something about improv too. So like, I'm a big fan of like Wildin' Out, like that show. And there's a lot of improv on that show. Would you do something like that, or would you?
I would fuck Nick Cannon if for some reason God and the way I believe in energy, just gonna make it somewhere. Like send this Nick Cannon vibes. Everybody, let me see spirit fingers right now.
Nick Cannon.
Wow.
Nick Cannon be watching
Kera Denise, bro. No, those are not spirit
those spirit fingers, bro.
Oh, okay.
All right, let me not bring it on in here. What was the okay? So,
like if you ever had the opportunity or the chance to like,
I would
show
definitely
like
yes,
that.
I would definitely do Wildin' Out. Yes. I don't even know how to elaborate that. Yes. Like, yes. Yeah. Where do I
Nick
sign?
Cannon, call me.
Right.
Yeah.
At Nick Cannon.
So tell us, like, who are some of your... Okay, well, first off, tell us how it is being a woman in comedy. I mean, there's so many more males. We understand that. We see there's so many more males, but we tend to see, like, maybe just a few women. I mean, we can probably name them on two hands that are, like, famous and actually funny. So... how is it being a woman in comedy?
I love it.
I
love it because the more the less what you're doing exists, the easier it is, the more highlight on you. You know what I mean? So there aren't any female comedians, especially not in Richmond, doing anything. I'm in a lane of my own, so it's better for me. I don't need to be in a big pond with all the fish. You know what I'm saying? I'm a shock over here in my own shit. So I like the kind of the it's kind of like a reserve, I guess. You know, it's always gonna be some type of shade, that male to female ratio shade situation in society. You know, that glass ceiling issue that's always gonna be. You know, existent. But I think sometimes it can be cliche.
Okay.
For sure.
Gotcha. So who are some of your top female comedians?
Oh my gosh. So I went to see some more. Look, I love some more. Like, I really love her. I be following her. I be weak. I be commenting on her stuff knowing she don't see it. Like, I sent her a DM. I was like, hey.
She may
She came to Richmond. I was like, hey, I'm in Richmond. I'm gonna see you. I'm in the crowd. Look, I'm gonna wear a bright red shirt. I'm gonna sit to the right side.
send it to her DM.
She ain't even see me.
Damn.
Why after the show, they was like, but if you want to take pictures with some more, it's $20. Like, it was a long ass line of $20. I was like, this nigga 24.
Yeah, that's how they do.
Yeah,
when I went to
crazy.
see what was his name? Michael Blackston.
That's where they get the money from. That's where they get the money from.
Exactly.
That's probably
That's
more
my
than
cousin.
More than the show,
Right.
right? Give me a
Like-
good little
Oh,
commission
Blackston,
off
your
the
cousin?
Right.
Okay.
the. But yes, I love some more. I love some more. I love some more. And I love Cheryl Underwood.
Mm,
You see
another
how
legend.
they are real. They're regular Black people.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
very relatable. Just I
Yeah.
love that regardless of what you feel about me, you know I'm not gonna do you wrong.
Right,
I get that from them,
right,
and that's like kind of the underlying appreciation that I have for their comedy.
right.
Mhm.
Are you? What's your take on? I'm curious to know, because speaking of, it's been like a great year. I would say last couple of years, great year for like Tiffany Haddish. She's been doing her thing in comedy, and like I said, Jessler has been on a come up. But I was gonna ask you the whole situation with Monique and Netflix.
Uh-huh.
What's your take on that? Like, because Monique is a legend. So do you feel like she had like a valid argument as far as like her, her getting her own special, like, them kind of like fronting on her a little bit? Or do you feel like, in the game of comedy, it's more so like, what have you done for me lately type thing?
Okay. So, first of all, I cannot believe I missed Tiffany Haddish. She's definitely my number 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Most
Haddish,
definitely.
okay.
And it's more I love Tiffany Haddish for the reasons that people love Cardi B. Not really
Like the
necessarily their
personality.
craft, but just her realness. I just love
Right.
realness.
Right.
That's whatever it is. You could freaking milk cows for a living. If I go to that farm and you real, I will revisit that farm. Smoke. You know what I'm saying? I just love realness. Like, I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. And then
Monique.
yes. So I don't think, honestly, she should have did all that. You know what I'm saying? Because for real, it's like, it's not even in comedy. In anything, you don't want the I'm trying not to shade her because I don't know where this is. I don't want to say this is no shade, Monique.
So
But I humbly, in my most humble opinion, she's old news. She's respectable, but if I had to pick a 3-on-3 match basketball, I'm not gonna pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar now. But I would have most definitely picked him back then. It's like we got it takes nothing from
You have
you,
a point
but
there.
chill.
Yeah, you got a point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it takes nothing from her talent and her skill or what have you. She holds the crown that she has, but you can't apply that to these times. Netflix, they have all right to dictate that in the way they did.
For sure.
I agree.
I respect that.
Really
respect
agree
that
with
answer.
Sorry, Mo. I still love the
Well,
Parkers.
she'll be all right.
I love the
Yeah.
Parkers.
Yeah, we love you, Monique.
I think that
Yeah.
that lawsuit is null and void though. But anyway.
Yo, Cardi.
Was not even thinking about Cardi B.
I missed that.
Yeah, anyway.
I missed
Yeah, I
that.
missed
Moving
that too.
on.
Would you I know you say you don't really, write material or anything like that. You kind of more so improv and freestyle it, but would you have somebody write comedy for you? Would you consider it, or you rather?
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I write comedy. I can, but
You just
initially,
prefer- yeah, okay.
I can't write exact jokes. The furthest I've gotten is like writing. I can write an outline of but I have to have some type of improv, otherwise it won't be real. And I need to give off realness.
Right.
I feed off realness in the crowd. Like, that's what makes me so versatile, because if I'm freestyling, I can go with any crowd. it would suck for me to write a nigga this, nigga that, and kill a black crowd, take that same material. I show up and the funny bone is white. And now I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
And
adjust it.
I'm sorry. Did I?
No, you're good.
No,
Hey, girl,
good.
this is a free platform here.
Yeah.
Okay, we
Right.
doing wrong.
It's you know.
But I always wondered if comedians looked at it like, you know, like I said, like rappers do. Like, you know, I can't have nobody else write for me. This got to come from me. But,
Right.
you know, I've heard of different legendary comedians. Like I said, I think Richard Pryor had like Paul Mooney writing for him and stuff like that. So I don't think it's something that is a big deal, I guess, in comedy. But I guess it just depends on
No,
what you...
it's a huge deal.
Okay.
I think at least that's my opinion right now. Maybe when I get, you know, that's subject to change. I don't know how much game, you know, I have like maybe one or two like comedy OGs or whatever, you know, like mentors.
Go to
if you
for
will.
like advice or something like that.
Yeah, like so you know, I might evolve and, you know, I might be down for writing and accepting other people to write for me. But for right now, nah.
Yeah. Why do you think sitcoms, like, as far as like, 'cause you know, back in the day, like a lot of comedians used to have their own show and stuff like that. But now, you know, reality TV is number one. I think sitcoms are coming back, you know, here and there. But do you think it'll ever be at the point where, like, you know, how we had like Martin and what other shows we had, the Steve Harvey show and
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
you know what I'm saying, hanging with Mr. Cooper. Do you ever think it'll be like back at
The
that
Bernie
point
Mac
where
show.
Bernie Mac,
Mac.
he got his show late.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
did.
So
America.
yeah, that shit was
I
fun.
would say it will never be the same.
Yeah.
There will always be sitcom because there was sitcom well before Martin and
Right.
well after. Like
Right.
sitcom is always going to be a category, but it will never be the same because people refer to Martin, because that's when technology kind of. As long as there's social media, people in their phones, they're not about to sit down and watch a show and give it enough ratings and enough attention, and and devote that much time to their schedule when they have things. Unless I think that's maybe the difference. Now people watch sitcoms on their phones. It's not that sit your ass down.
They can
Watch
the
TV.
new episode come on.
Where's the
every
remote? Ain't no
Wednesday kind of
DVR,
thing.
So
Yeah.
I think the lack of that is what caused, sitcoms to kind of
Go down.
But that's
get
why a lot of
watered
stuff.
down.
A lot of stuff is going to the streaming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is
But you
so
don't even
cheesy.
see many sitcoms anymore, really. Like, you'll see Netflix series and
Yeah.
documentaries, things like that. But when was the last? I think the last one was with Just Hilarious
Just
and
Lil Rel.
yeah,
Lil
and
Rel
that
show.
shit is
Right.
gone already.
Yeah, it was like
It's
one
done.
season of it.
Yeah, it was only one each
It's
season.
crazy.
Was
'Cause I
I-
guess people want to see like
I feel like there's some good
Honestly,
stuff. Others, I just
they-
can't
They
think of them.
came out with something
Marlon Wayans. He did come out with a new sitcom.
Yeah,
just
Marlon.
And that's on
recently.
Netflix.
I want to
Yeah.
say, was it Good Times?
Yeah, they just
They
did
coming out
something
with
this
something
past-
new that was from before. I want to say it was Good Times.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
A reboot.
That
They
was
did
all
they
in
did
the
like a
uproar,
live. They
like-
did like a live taping of it the other night, but I don't know if they bring
And
it back. though.
Martin is supposed to come back.
Really?
That at least that was a rumor.
Nah.
Nah.
As much as I love Martin show, man, just leave it alone.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
even-
Leave it alone.
Cause
Nah.
Tommy ain't here, and it's
I mean,
not the
right,
same.
could do like more
right.
stand-up.
But
Tommy really at work.
Oh, you know what? I should have.
Yeah, it could
definitely
be
said
like, wow.
What?
When I
Martin
mentioned
and Gina
him-
might not even be together at this
I'm
time.
sorry.
Right.
I just can't get used to this. I'm so sorry. I've been fixing this the whole time.
Oh, you good?
But yeah, when we were mentioning female comedians, they not really comedians, but female comedic influence.
Mhm.
Definitely Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold.
Tashina.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Them, they are a powerhouse together.
Yes,
Why
they
don't
are.
me and my best friend was just saying this the other day, like we was on YouTube on the TV looking at them two. I think they hosted something.
The
and they had
Soul
that
Train.
little
Soul
Yeah,
they had
Soul Train
little
Awards.
funny videos and stuff. And I'm like, they need a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
They could
they
do a
are a
show.
good team
They
together.
are such a great.
They
I
work well
love
together.
that they have that realness.
Yeah,
like I just
yeah.
connect with like they so real. They were being themselves. That was like kind of my first time seeing Gina. Like lately she been edgy,
Right,
but like
right.
she was like herself. She wasn't
Right.
Gina to me.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like I said, it was Martin was as
Tisha
funny as he
Campbell.
was. That whole cast made the show. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was funny in their own way.
Right.
I remember getting into a debate with somebody because somebody was trying to tell me like Will Smith was like an actual comedian. I'm like, no, he's a comedian actor. Like, but he don't. Will Smith didn't do stand up. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, he's not a
All the
comedian.
roles he
Like,
played.
niggas was like, nah, bro, he a comedian like
It's
Martin. I'm
comical.
like, nah, bro. Like,
Yeah,
but
he's
you
an
know
actor that's
what?
funny. You know what I'm saying?
Tashina Arnold and Tisha Campbell, their duo is like Martin and Will Smith.
Yeah.
They're Bad Boys thing.
Right. They could do a
funny
movie or
together.
something.
The Bad Boys movies.
She's
they're
the yin to her
hilarious.
yang.
They funny together.
Exactly.
I think they doing something else for real.
Bad
They making
Boys
another
3.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the
Bad
Bad
Boys?
Boys? Yeah, the Bad Boys. Yeah,
I
it's
love
coming
that
out.
I
franchise.
think
Yeah.
they was at Tyler Perry thing.
Tyler Perry Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
this is the
Will
last
Smith
one.
is almost on like Denzel. He's almost there with Denzel, I think.
What?
I think
I
so.
feel so.
Yeah,
I
I
believe
mean,
he is on
It's
his
now
way
that he
to
has
grab.
I feel like,
social media,
yeah,
he's like,
but
I mean, come on. All you gotta say is a Will Smith movie. And niggas will go da 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 da.
No,
A
I
Denzel
done seen some-
movie.
I-
You know what I'm saying? I think he's on his way.
Yeah,
I
I
have
ain't-
Pelican
you know.
Bay. Trinity, bro. Trinity, bro.
I think he's on his way up there.
King
Will
Kong
Smith.
ain't got
So how
shit.
you go back to
Denzel.
Hey,
Oh.
Denzel. Hey.
Right, I
Denzel
was
can
like,
get up there,
I mean,
bro.
I joined in with
but
you,
Denzel, my favorite Denzel movie is probably my mom put me on years ago. They was in the Navy and they was on a boat. They was on a submarine. They was under the water.
Oh,
Shit got real, bro. And
Hey, what's the name of that movie?
you
I
know what I'm
exactly
talking about.
I know
And
exactly
it
what
is
you're talking
such a
about.
good movie.
I thought you was ready to say Antoine Fisher. I already say that shit.
Nah,
man.
Antoine Fisher's
it's
alright,
already
but
done.
no, that
I'm gonna look it up.
please look it up. My
Oh,
mom
no.
probably, if she see this, she could be like, such and such. Like saying it like, I know
She gonna be like, them niggas young,
I
y'all know
forgot
they
the name of the
talking
I
movie.
definitely don't.
They were in the Navy, they were underwater. It got real. The captain or whatever, the Navy captain of
I know
the
what you're
thing
talking-
was like racist or something. He wasn't racist, but he was like shading the hell out of Denzel.
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide.
Y'all
I think
go
I
look
watched
it
that
up.
junk. I might
Yeah.
watch
Look it
that.
up.
Yeah,
Netflix.
that's an older
Look
Denzel
it
joint.
up.
Yeah,
Like,
and yeah. But it
yeah.
was a really, really good movie.
Mhm.
Let me ask you: is it a thing, or is it? I guess true. You know, they say like a lot of comedians, the funny or the humor that they have comes from like sometimes dark, you know, experiences or from a dark place, or you know, some comedians might consider themselves loners. Is that true? More so in your case, is there been a lot of I guess you know, drama and things that you had to go through in your life that you just made it funny?
Absolutely. I think that's kind of similar. There was a question before when I was talking about childhood, and it kind of gave me the same vibes this time. So yeah, it's,
Okay.
back, you know, I think everybody has a childhood. Like everybody has,
But just I'm not even just your
something-
child, but like your adult life.
or
Like,
just in general,
things you got.
you know, all the just 360. I think my reaction to just being uncomfortable, whether it's fear or whatever, is joke. Like y'all go
Make-
get this
make a
joke
joke
because
out
y'all
of
ain't
it.
about to really see what I'm thinking right now, you know, or y'all not about to feel what I'm feeling. It's kind of like a camouflage or some type of
Yeah.
like distraction.
Defense mechanism.
I was about to
Yeah.
say a defense mechanism.
Exactly.
Yeah. Could you tell a joke at a funeral?
Honestly,
When is it too soon?
I have a close friend.
Funeral.
And I have a close friend, and just yesterday in the car, or a day before yesterday, he was telling me something, and then I hit him with a joke, and he was dead ass mad at me, and I was like, he was like, "Would you joke with yourself right now?" If I was like, "Man, I was just, I was just trying to lighten the mood,"
Yeah.
you know. So like, I always
I be
it's
doing that
never
shit
too
too.
soon. What funerals are the weakest times. Like I be weak. So funny things happen at every funeral. Yes, it's
Yep.
sad depending
But
on how
even if
close
you
that
like
person was to
people
you. But if it's a funeral where that person ain't, like it's somebody that they didn't die tragically, like grandma. I'm sorry.
Or even if they
Uh,
are close, I feel like
Yeah.
some
It's
stuff
just the
happens.
people
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
that you do at funerals and weddings.
Close
You
family
roasting
members,
niggas.
it was
Yeah,
very
funerals and
hilarious.
weddings.
There's some
I
funny
don't know.
situations that happen.
It depends on the funeral, yeah, because yeah. But I think any situation, I don't care what it is. Like that's why sometimes I wonder if there's laughter in heaven, like in the whatever the next
life,
or however people say it, heaven, eternity, hell, anything, whatever. I wonder if there's the concept of laughter or humor.
Right.
I always wonder that. Like, do people giggle in heaven? Like, I know anybody laughing in hell.
Right.
If that's real.
Ain't shit funny down there. So tell us what you got coming up. Anything you working on going into the new year? Where can we find your content and, social media?
So my social media is Kera Denise. That's Kera Denise, spelled the traditional way. Hopefully everybody got a good enough little diploma.
Yeah, you can spell out there. Kera
Everybody,
Denise.
GD. Kera Denise. All social media platforms. I need to get better with like Twitter and what's the other one? Snapchat. But that's just too much for me. Okay,
Snapchat, I feel like you don't really. It's not really what it used to be anyway.
It died very quickly.
Exactly, it died because Twitter was popping when I was in college.
Yeah,
right.
I went to ODU, and that's when everybody,
Shout out ODU.
Shout out Monarchs.
Facts.
So, but yeah, Kera Denise. I have a few hosting gigs lined up.
Okay.
I think the next time I have a comedy booking is January.
Okay.
So just follow my page, man. Just, I post everything to my page, flyers or what have you. So just stay posted there.
For sure.
Right. I'm gonna be on the lookout.
For sure.
And I'm from South Richmond. Shout out to South Side.
In the house.
I gotta say that. I don't care what I do.
Gotta put that out there.
You know what I'm saying?
South, you know what I'm saying?
South
Richmond
side.
as a whole, but he's in the South Side.
Right.
Real quick, what music you listening to? Just kind of shift gears a little bit. What music you like?
Okay. So my music playlist or whatever is definitely like unorthodox. I'm telling you, I listen to everything from Paramore to Lil Wayne, old school Lil Wayne. I listen to what I like. So if like the most of the stuff that I like is from back when music was like a better thing a more bearable kind of thing to listen to. But old school Lil Wayne, probably like but nowadays I love Tierra Whack. I love Rico Nasty. Everybody loves Beyonce and typicals, Cardi B, Rihanna, whatever. Yeah. But those are probably my personal ones that not everybody are mostly aware of. For sure.
But definitely, I appreciate you joining us. This was great talk and just learning more about you. And like I said, we wish nothing but success for you.
Yes, indeed.
And come back and visit us.
I wish success for y'all.
Appreciate that.
Yes, y'all give me that realness. I fuck with that. I've been abusing the cussing freedom because sometimes you can't cuss. You be like, that's the first thing a comedian get with.
It's a podcast.
That's the first thing I need to know.
You're free up here,
right?
But yeah, definitely come back and check us out. All right,
I sure will. Thanks for having me.
All right, until next time. This is another edition of the Panel Interviews. We are the Top Podcast. We out.
Truly opinionated, we do it for the culture. A group of minds came in combined to put some thoughts in order. A platform is all we need, it be so filterless. Say what's on your mind, put it all in line. Your own perspective, living legends all in one room. It be so effortless, build it up like it's Tetris. Come with knowledge, so let us in. We doing it straight from the soul. That's how we feeling it, killing in every category. This would be the testimony. A lot of truth with just as many opinions. So prolific a vision, you won't forget it. We over top of the gimmicks, the side of something new. This for our city ain't stopping until we reach our pinnacle. We got a lot to do, been breaking through, you know what we on. All gas, no brakes, what it takes. Let's set the stage to be great. This is the top for the day. You will see nothing better, beginning of something special. We reaching another level, we pushing forward together. Everybody got ambitions, you know. We on the rise with the top, yeah, you know. I said what? Everybody got ambitions, you know. We on the rise with the top, yeah, you know. Everybody got ambition, you know. We on the rise with the top, yeah, you know. And say what? Everybody got ambition, you know. We on the rise with the top, yeah, you know. Truly opinionated.